Hi, welcome. My name is Queenie. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Sweat and Refresh. For today's practice, all you really need is a blanket or two. If you don't have that, you're going to use a towel or a cushion or pillow. First half of the practice, we will be kind of flowing, just mostly getting the body to move along with the breath. Second half of the practice, we'll be slowing it down, stretching out the body, and getting deeper into our muscles. So let's get ready. Find a comfortable seated position, any way that works for you. Shoulders relaxed, spine nice and tall. We'll close our eyes. So with your eyes closed, bring your attention to your breath. These few moments right at the beginning of our practice is very important to not just set an intention for your practice, but also to kind of get a sense of your energy level, get a sense of how your body's feeling today. Any tightness, discomfort, stiffness, or even pain sometimes. You can scan from the top of your head, moving down your face, feeling your neck, shoulders, moving down your arms, your elbows, your forearms, feeling the wrists, your hands and fingers. You can maybe even move the fingers and the hands a little. And then slowly traveling down your spine, feeling your vertebrae, shoulder blades, the ribs, your chest, the belly, mid-back, low back. Moving down to the hips, your legs, the thighs, your knees, calves, ankles, feet and toes. And this practice here, just scanning the body, also helps to bring your awareness to the present, allowing you to let your day go, releasing all the events that have already transpired, that have already passed. So letting go of any worries of things that haven't happened yet. Firmly planting your mind, your focus to the present, feeling in your body. The next time that you breathe in, take a deeper breath in through the nose. Really feel your torso expand with air. Let's open the mouth and sigh it out. We'll do that again. Breathe in, deep breath. Open your mouth, sigh it out. One more time, breathe, inhale, and release. We'll start our practice with a sound of Om. Just connect your palms in front of your heart in prayer. Feel free to join me. Take a deep breath in. Gently bowing your head. Open your eyes with a few blinks. Good. Release your palms. We're actually going to start standing today. So shake out the legs, turn the head, roll out the shoulders. Have your feet parallel and about hip width apart. All right. So you don't want the feet too close together or too wide. About hip width. It doesn't have to be exact. And slight bend to your knees. So you, instead of locking the knees out, right, have just a slight softness to the knees here. We're going to inhale and just reach the arms up. Stretch. Reaching really tall. And then when we exhale, just let the arms relax down. So super simple. We're going to do that again. On the inhale, you're going to reach the arms up like you're trying to touch the ceiling. You can even look up if you like. And then exhale, slowly relaxing the arms. We're going to do it one more time. You're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Good. Now keeping the arms lifted, you're going to reach your right arm up a little higher. So there's a little bit of a side bend here, like you're trying to reach for something right up on the ceiling with your right hand. So So feel the right side body, take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, kind of return back through center. We're gonna do the same thing with the left arm. You're gonna reach it up. The right arm can stay lifted. And notice if you kind of like come onto your toes, ground your heels, and just try to reach really far up with your left arm, feeling the left side of your body lengthen. And then coming back through center, we're just gonna do one more on each side. Right arm reaching up, left arm can still stay lifted. If it's you prefer, you can also just relax the left arm, but really reach up with the right. And then both arms lifted. Left arm's gonna reach. You can release the right arm if you like. Breathe into the side body, ground into your feet, but adding a tiny bend to your knees. And then next time you inhale, you're gonna reach both arms up. And as you exhale, just kind of fling your arms down. Hopefully you aren't wearing any bracelets that fly out off your arms. I'm gonna do it one more time. Just both arms reach up, breathe in. And then exhale, arms kind of just fling down. Good, let it kind of sway a little. Turn your head. All right, still feet about hip width, slight bend to your knees. We're going to lift the right arm up again, breathe in. Adding a side stretch so the left arm can slide down a little bit. Push your hips over to the right side. Breathe here. On your exhale, bend the knees a little more. Bring your right shoulder towards your left thigh. So let your spine really round. Bend the knees a little more if you need. So you're draping your body over your left leg. And then slowly walk fingertips forward so that they're in line with your feet where your toes are pointing. Let your head relax. Interlace your hands. Have your right thumb on top of the left thumb when you interlace. And then bring your palms to the base of your skull. Elbows pointing towards your shins. Tuck your chin. And then push your head into your hands and have your hands slightly resist by pushing into your head. But you don't want your hands to be too strong here. The neck and the head will push more strongly into the hands. The hands are just there to gently resist. So you feel the back of your neck get longer, as well as you are using some of the back muscles here. You might feel the space between your shoulder blades, your low back. Take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, sigh it out. Release your arms. Let them dangle downwards. Slight bend to the knees or a deeper bend if you need. We're going to walk the hands over towards the right side. The left arm will lead. The left shoulder will lead. You're going to lift the left arm and shoulder up. Coming into a side bend here. So we're completing that full circle. Breathing into the left side body. And then the next time you inhale, come all the way out. Both arms reach up. And then exhale again, just drop the arms. Turn the head, move the shoulders, you can shake out the legs. We're gonna do the same direction one more time, a little bit quicker. So again, right arm's gonna lift up, deep breath in. Exhale, side bend first, breathing out of your ribs. Take another inhale. And then exhale, round your back, bend the knees if you need. Aim your right shoulder towards your left leg. Both hands dangle down. Just turn your spine so now it's neutral, kind of your face between the shins, the legs. Just letting your spine dangle here. Feel the weight of your head. Feel release in your neck. There's no stress there, no tension. And then completing that circle, moving your hands over to the right side. Left hand starts to lift first, leading with your left shoulder, coming to a side bend. Legs relatively straight, breathing into the left side of your ribs. And then next time you inhale, you're gonna come all the way up. Both arms lift up, stretch really tall. Exhale, fling your arms down, release. Good, turn your head, roll the shoulders. All right, so we're gonna start at the top of the mat if you're not already there. Excuse me, Abby. Can you just hang out here? Okay, sit. All right, so you're at the top of the mat. Feet together if you can, or you can also have it hip width apart. You're gonna inhale, lift the arms up. And when you exhale, bend the knees if you need. Start to hinge from the hips here as you fold forward. Let your head relax, no strain on the neck. Then when you inhale, slide your hands to the shins. Gently push, not too hard. And then lift your chest forward. Guys, notice I still have my knees bent. My spine is arching here rather than rounded. And that way my back muscles work a little harder. And then help to open the chest. The back muscles get a little weak if you spend all day sitting. And when we breathe out next, you're gonna release. So feel a release in your spine. Feel a release in those muscles. Hands are gonna stay on the mat. You're gonna slowly walk your feet to the very back. And come into a downward facing dog. So in our down dog, it's kind of like an upside down V. Palms are pressing down firmly into the mat, into your knuckles. And feel free to pedal the heels, move the body a little bit, especially if this is your first down dog of the day or of the week. And then when you inhale next, I want you to find plank pose. That's just shifting shoulders on top of your hands. Trying to create a nice straight line from the top of your head right to your heels. And for some of us, you might notice you have to kind of adjust where your hands and your feet are from downward dog. Now, keeping your distance between hands and feet from your plank pose should be the same in your down dog. So don't move hands and feet when you lift your hips back up to down dog. Feel free to keep your knees bent. Legs do not need to be straight. All right, so a little more dynamic moving here. You're gonna inhale, come forward. Exhale, just lift back up. So you're gonna feel the shoulders, your hips, your ankles. Inhale, come forward, as well as your wrists. You're gonna feel them. Exhale, lift back up. You want strong core here, so pull the belly button in when you come forward. Breathe. Exhale, lift the hips back up. Just one more time. You're gonna inhale, come forward. Feel free to lower your knees and then gently come all the way down onto your belly. Good. Once you're on the mat, bring your hands off the mat onto the floor. You want fingertips down, your elbows point up. So both hands come out to the sides. All right, elbows lift to the ceiling. Your toes are untucked. You're gonna press the tops of your feet down into the mat. When you inhale next, use a bit of your back strength as well as your hands. Lift your chest forward. Don't try to come super high up yet, all right? So back is strong, heart lifts forward. So my chest is lifting towards Abby. Exhale, slowly release. Again, you're gonna inhale, lift your chest forward. Think chest in this direction rather than just moving up. And then exhale, we'll lower. One more, you're gonna inhale, lift up. Now as we exhale, you're gonna bring your left shoulder downwards. It may not touch the mat, that's okay. When you inhale next, you're gonna come back up, back strong, legs push into the mat, right shoulder comes down. Breathe out. And then again, inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, left shoulder comes down. Breathe in, back up. Right shoulder comes down. Remember, the shoulder does not need to fully touch the mat. One more on each side. You're gonna inhale up. Exhale, left shoulder down. You wanna follow your breath. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, right shoulder. Coming back through center, breathe in. And breathe out, slowly release. Bring your hands back onto the mat. Good. Press into your hands and knees. Come to a tabletop position. And from tabletop, let your hips start to melt back towards the heels. Find your child's pose, arms reach forward. Let your forehead melt down. You can also stack your palms if you prefer to rest your head on something. You can also take this child's pose with your hands by your feet and just let your forehead come right onto the mat. So breathing into your back body. Pick what works for you. And as always, this is your practice. So anytime you need, you can just come to this pose, come to child's pose. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth and sigh it out. When you inhale next, come back to tabletop. And from tabletop, walk the hands forward a little bit, tuck the toes, and move back to our downward facing dog. And from down dog, we're gonna look forward. Start to walk the feet to the top of the mat. It's okay to have your knees bent, legs don't have to be straight. Once you're at the very top, you're gonna inhale halfway, lift, hands comes to the shin again. Lift your chest forward, arch your back. Exhale, draw the belly in and fold, relax your neck, no strain there. Press into the feet, lift all the way up, inhale, stretch. Exhale, release your arms by your side. So I'm gonna turn to face you. It's a little bit easier. We've done this already in one direction. Now we're gonna go the other way, all right? So you're gonna inhale, reach your left arm up. Breathe into the left side body. Adding that side bend here, you can gently contract the muscles on the right side, slight bend to your knees. Next time you breathe out, bring your left shoulder towards your right thigh, rounding your spine. So landing your hands outside your right foot, and then slowly walk it forward. So now you're no longer twisting, your spine is more or less neutral. Good. So interlace your hands, left thumb on top of the right, bring your hands to the base of your skull. No weight on the hands yet, just tuck your chin, and then gently push into the head with your hands as the head pushes back into the palms. So turning this neck stretch into more of an active stretch. So we're not just pushing in the hands, but the head resists. So that way you get the back of the neck to really lengthen, and it might pull all the way towards the space between your shoulder blades, maybe down your spine towards your low back. I want you to breathe deep into that back body. Feel free to open your mouth and sigh it out. And then gently release your hands. There's no strain on the neck here. Let's walk the hands over to the left side. And then leading with the right arm, start to lift yourself up really slow. So there's a little bit of work here in order to move slowly. You're adding that side bend here, right arm reaching over to the left side. And then next time you inhale, both arms lift up. Reach it really tall. Exhale, arms down. You're kind of like flicking your hands. All right, one more time in that direction. So we're gonna lift the left arm up, breathe in. Exhale, adding that side bend, deepening there, pushing your hips over to the left side. No strain in the neck here. Bend the knees as much as you need. Start to bring your left shoulder towards your right thigh, rounding your back. Hands gonna land outside your right foot, and then slowly walk the hands to the center. So now your spine is straight. Let your spine dangle. No strain in the neck. The weight of your head is heavy. Take a deep breath here. Long breath out. Continue to walk your hands over to the left side. And taking your time here, not rushing. Leading with your right arm, your right shoulder as you lift your chest up. And side bend first. Pushing your hips over to the right side. Breathe here. And then nice and slow, you're going to lift all the way up. And then flick your arms down again. Exhale. Good. Turn your head, roll the shoulders. So still at the top of your mat, bring your feet together here. You want your legs together, big toes touching perhaps. And then when you inhale next, you will bend your knees, sweep your arms back, down, and then forward. So you're in a chair pose. If you look down, you should be able to see your toes in your chair. And maybe lift your toes up so that you're not leaning too far forward. More of your weight is in your heels. That way your legs actually work a little harder. Squeeze your thighs, keep your core strong. We're here for just one more inhale. You got this. And as you exhale, you'll fold forward, hinge from the hips, relax your head. Breathe in, halfway lift. And when you exhale, place your hands down. We're gonna walk the feet back again, coming right to your downward facing dog. So to check the distance, if we got it right, you're gonna inhale, come to plank pose. Good. Fix the hands and the feet, and then find your way back to downward facing dog. From down dog, ground into your hands. You wanna feel like your hips are light, so push your butt up towards the sky, and then it's okay to have your knees bent. Try to press the heels downwards as well, and that way you're gonna get a stretch in your ankles and your calves. Let your chest melt towards your heart. Next time you breathe in, we're gonna come back to our plank pose, and we'll lower all the way down onto the belly. Keep your hands where they are. I'm just shifting back because Abby, for some reason, is now not leaving the mat. We're gonna inhale, pull the shoulders back, lift the chest forward into cobra. Try to keep your hands a little lighter. Instead of pushing and trying to really crank the spine here, just keep it light. Exhale, lower. So again, shoulders pull back, inhale, lift the chest. I want you to start to feel like your back is doing a lot of the work. Exhale, push your legs down again, breathe in, lift up, back strong. Exhale, lower. 2 more, inhale, shoulders pull back. So this is really good to counter all that time we spend hunching and rounding on our desks. Lower down, 1 more time. Pull your shoulders back, lift your heart forward, hand stays light, push your legs into the ground, and then exhale, release. Tabletop, breathe in. And then exhale, let your hips melt back. Child's pose, just for 1 breath here, so breathe through the nose. Feel free to sigh it out. All right, next time you inhale, thank you, come back to your downward facing dog. So from down dog, you're going to start to look forward and walk your feet towards the top of the mat. Once you're at the top, you're gonna inhale, look up halfway again, and exhale, fold. Hi, Abby, thank you. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, release your arms. So we're gonna add a bit more hip opening here right now, bringing your feet together. Next time you inhale, we'll come back to chair first, warming up the legs. Breathe in. Legs are super strong, and when you exhale, fold forward, lift the hips up, relax your head. You don't have to straighten the legs, you can keep the knees bent. Now, keeping your right foot there, we're gonna step the left foot to the back of the mat. Bringing your left knee down. Now, if the knee is sensitive, I would suggest you can bring one of your cushions, towels, or blankets underneath the left knee. All right, so hands gonna come to the hips. You're gonna lift your spine up. You can walk the right foot forward a little bit more if you need. Let your hips gently push forward. So when you come into this pose, you don't want your knee over your heel, passing like this. You want your knee directly above. So in this pose, we're stretching out the left hip flexor. So that's the crease here in the hip, but on the left side. Hands are gonna come to the hips to start. Pull your elbows back, let the hips melt. Try to lift your chest up. Take a deep breath in, long breath out. Hands are gonna reach up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Keep pushing the hips forward when you breathe out. Okay, lean forward slowly. We're gonna bring the left hand down onto the mat. Lift the right arm up. Coming to a twist. So turning your chest to the right side. Back knee's gonna stay on the mat. Take an inhale here, and an exhale, release. So both hands are on the mat. Look at my back foot. I'm gonna turn it over to the right side. So my left foot turns over to the right. I'm going to bring my right hand inside the right foot, all right? So left arm is gonna lift up this time. Now there's a tendency to stick the butt back. So my butt will be sticking towards the camera, towards you. Can you push your hips over towards where your chest is now facing, to the left side? So don't let your butt stick back. Hug it in so you feel a bit of your inner thigh getting the stretch. Left arm then reaches forward towards the front of your mat. Left arm by the ear. Take another inhale. Nice long breath out. Pull yourself all the way back up. Good. And then releasing your hands to the hips. I'm just going to turn around so you can see me easier here. So we were just here. Now, we were just in this pose. So if you're facing the left side of your mat, you're going to bring your hands down. You're going to walk your foot out a little more. Start to straighten your right leg. Maybe lifting the right toes and the toe mound. So you can stay here. And just feeling maybe inner thigh, back of the leg. Or you start to walk your hands back onto the mat. Right hand down. Left arm up. It's kind of like moving towards our triangle pose, which we will do in a moment. You can also be on your fingertips. You can also lightly rest your hand on the shin, but don't put any weight on the knee, all right? In fact, maybe add a tiny bend to the knee. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, both hands come back to the top of your mat. You can drag your heel in a little bit, bend the knee. Good. Your back foot comes back onto the mat. Lift the back knee. Let's step the right foot back. So I'm just facing the other way because I turned forward here. So in plank pose, breathe in. Use your knees if you need. Lower all the way onto your belly. Untuck your toes, strengthen the back. Shoulders pull back, lift your heart. Breathe. Exhale, lower. See if you feel a difference between your left hip crease and your right. Again, inhale, shoulders pull back. Lift your heart. Exhale, lower. One more time, breathe in, shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale, release. Good. Coming back to tabletop, breathe in. Exhale, melt your hips back. Breathe out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Good. From here, we're gonna come back to our downward dog, walking our feet slowly to the top of the mat. Then when you inhale next, hands to the shins, halfway lift, like our cobra pose, back muscles strong. Exhale, release. Let's lift all the way up, breathe in, stretch tall. And then arms by your side, breathe out. Legs together. Come back to your chair pose, bend your knees, lift your arms up, breathe in. Good, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down. Your left foot's gonna stay. Step your right foot all the way back. You can, again, cushion the knee if you like. Good. From here, we're gonna bring your hands to the hips. You might walk the left foot forward a little more if you need. Hips push forward. So again, we're gonna feel the front of your right hip crease. That's your psoas, your hip flexor opening here, pushing it forward, elbows pull back, shoulder blades together. This is a really good stretch if you do spend most of your day sitting in a chair. Puff your chest upwards, elbows pull back, and push your hips forward towards the front edge of your mat. Take another inhale and another exhale. When you breathe in next, sweep your arms up, stretch really tall while you try to push your hips down. And then leaning forward, you're gonna place your right hand down, lift your left arm up, come to a twist. Keeping your legs exactly as they are and still bending your left knee. Breathe in. When you exhale, bring your left hand down. Your back foot, right foot is gonna turn over to the left side. Your left hand's gonna come inside the left leg. You might be on fingertips or the hand might be floating, that's okay. You reach your right arm up. Don't stick your butt back, push your hips forward to where your chest is pointing. Good, so then the inner thigh gets an open. Don't let your knee collapse in either. Knee pushes back. Then the right arm reaches forward, overhead, so the arm is by the ear. Just feeling a little bit of a side stretch here as well. Take another inhale. One more exhale. Pull yourself all the way up, breathe in. All right, good. You can walk the left foot forward a little bit so the leg starts to straighten. Bring your hands down to the side of your mat. You can lift your left toes if you like. Staying here, or you can walk your hands over back towards your left leg and reach your right arm up. You can have a micro bend to your knee. You can also bring your hands to the shin. Just try not to put pressure on your knee when it's straight. Then breathe. All right, next time you inhale, bend the left knee. All right, place your hands back towards the top of your mat. Swing your right leg back. You're gonna step your left foot all the way back. You can move your cushioning out of the way. Plank pose, breathing in. And then when you exhale, lower all the way down. Use your knees if you need. Untuck the toes. Inhale, shoulders back. Cobra here. Breathe in. Exhale, release. Again, inhale. I'm more interested in you building strength here than trying to get really high up. So less about the height. Lower down. One more time. More about the strength. Inhale. And exhale. Tabletop when you breathe in. And just briefly in child's pose when you breathe out. Just let your spine stretch out here. Deep breath in through the nose. And sigh it out. All right. Coming back to your down dog. No strain in the neck. We're going to walk the feet forward towards the top of the mat. Bend the knees if you need. Inhale, halfway lift. Deep breath in. Exhale, full forward. Lift all the way up. Breathe in, stretch. And release your arms by your side. So we're going to do kind of almost similar poses, but it's going to be a little more challenging in this round. So if you need to leave your knee at the back of the mat, on the mat, that's fine too. All right, so let's come back to chair. Bend your knees. Inhale, lift the arms up. Good. Exhale, full forward. So we're not holding our chair for too long. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down. Your right foot's going to stay. You're going to bring your left foot to the back of the mat. So bend the right knee. You're welcome to lower the left knee, or you're going to keep it up. You're going to inhale, sweep your arms up. So this time we're in a high runner's lunge. More work in the legs. The stretch in your left hip flexor will be a little bit different. Arms reaching tall. Press your hips towards the front edge of your mat. Lift your chest, lift your arms up towards the sky. Back leg super strong. Take another inhale. Exhale, slowly lean forward. Place your left hand down. So it's my right foot and left hand at the top of the mat. And then lift your right arm up, twist. So we did this earlier, but the back knee was down. So you could also keep your back knee down. Otherwise, lift it. Good. Nice and slow. Bring both hands down onto the mat. Now, left heel. If your knee's on the mat, you're going to spin the heel in again, like we did the first time. Otherwise, bring your left heel down towards the right. Bring your right hand inside the right foot. If this is really tough, bring your right elbow onto the right thigh, then sweep your left arm up. So this is our side angle. There's a tendency to want to straighten the leg a little because the leg gets tired. So try to keep your right thigh parallel to the ground. Right hand might be near the mat. Then left arm can also reach forward. Good, super strong stance here. That helps to open the hips, strengthen the legs, stretching the left side body and the shoulder. Take one more inhale. Beautiful. And when you exhale, can you pull yourself all the way up? So it's the same. If you had the knee down, you're pulling yourself up here. The only difference now is we're going to straighten the front line. So this is our triangle pose, Trikonasana. Send your butt back. Your right arm reaches forward. Don't sink your shoulder. Just bring your right hand down, left arm up. So I'm much more elevated than trying to come down towards the ground. And that way I'm strengthening the side core muscles. Arms reach, try to look up at your left hand. Might be a little difficult to balance if your legs are in one straight line. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, bend the right knee. Both hands come down. Lift the back heel, step your right foot back, plank pose. Breathe in. Let's lightly lower all the way down. Try not to drop your body. Untuck your toes, cobra, strengthen the back, open the chest, shoulders pull back. Exhale, release. Two more, inhale, strong back. Exhale, come down. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out. Tabletop, inhale. Melt your hips back into a child's pose, exhale. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Tabletop, inhale. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog, exhale. Good, so we're going to move into the other side. You're gonna look forward when you breathe in, and when you exhale, start to walk your feet forward towards the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Pressing into the feet, lift all the way up, breathe in, and then release your arms by your side. Feet together. Last side before we really slow it down. Bend your knees. Inhale, lift the arms. Strong legs. Exhale, fold forward. Lift the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. Left foot's going to stay. Right leg's going to go all the way back. If you need cushioning or dropping the knee, you can bring it down. Otherwise, keep the knee lifted. You're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. So it's the same, even if the knee is on the mat. It's just the lifted version, the legs work a little harder. Again, we're stretching the right hip flexor. Push the right heel back. Square your hips. Arms reach. Your hips are trying to push forward. Your arms and your chest are trying to lift up. Really strong here. Breathe in. And exhale, lean forward slowly. Right hand's going to come downwards. Left arm's going to lift up. You're going to find your twist. Try not to straighten your left leg too much. Keep the bend in the left knee. Good. Breathe. And then release your left hand down. Now if your right knee is on the mat and you want to bring it down now, sweep your right foot to the left side. Otherwise, left hand's going to come to the inside of your left foot. Right heel can come down. If this is a little too much for your hip, bring your left elbow or forearm on the thigh. Keep your left thigh parallel, right arm reaching up to the sky. All right, so staying here, or your palm can come part way down, all the way down. You can also reach your right arm forward. Arm is by the ear. Back leg just as strong as your front. So here again, we're opening the hips, strengthening the quads, the side core. When you inhale next, pull yourself all the way up. Straighten your left leg. Same thing here, straighten the left leg, all right? So hips go back, left arm reaches forward. Don't sink your shoulder, just bring your left hand down, right arm up. Biggest mistake is people want to come lower and lower and lower. Then we're missing an opportunity here to keep the side of the core strong. So we're supporting the shape of our torso. Arms reach wide, look up to the right hand if you can balance. Otherwise, you can always look down. Breathe. Next time you inhale, you can start to bend the left knee. Windmill the hands down. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. Plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, slowly come all the way down. Untuck the toes. Inhale, shoulders pull back, lift your chest. Exhale, release. Again, breathe in. So you can lift just a little bit if that works better for your spine. Don't force it to lift too high. Lower. One more time. Back strong. Lead with shoulders pulling back. Lift your chest forward. And then come all the way down. Push into a tabletop on the inhale. And exhale. Move back to a child's pose. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Tabletop, inhale, tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. And in this down dog, separate your feet as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Turn your toes out, heels in, and then start to slowly sink your hips. You might not go super low. You might keep your hips a little higher in order to keep the heels on the mat. And then palms can come to prayer. So try to do your best to keep the weight more in the heels rather than really heavy in the toes. And if you're really comfy here, sinking super low, lift your chest and maybe lift your butt a little. So you're already so flexible here. You don't need to sink any lower. Good. Elbows push the knees out. So this again opens the hips, strengthens the back, especially if we're taking the rounding out of this pose. If you can't arch the spine, lift your butt a little more. More strength in the legs. Good. Take one more breath in. One more breath out. Hands release. Lift the hips. Shake out the legs. Keep the feet wide. Slide your hands up towards the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Feel free to keep a bend in your knees. Exhale, fold. Let's lift all the way out. Inhale, stretch. Release the arms by your side. Turn the head. Roll out the shoulders. You can bring your feet closer together so they're about hip width. Slight bend to your knees. Palms face forward. Neck long. Close your eyes for a moment here. So just taking a break in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. You want to feel whether you have a tendency to stand on one foot more. So if your right foot may be heavier than your left or vice versa, try to have even weight in your right and your left foot. So close your eyes here so you feel your body, feel the weight in your feet, and then maybe just lean forward a tiny bit and feel your toes grip into the mat. And then lean back a tiny, tiny bit, feel your toes lift and your heels ground, and then find somewhere in the middle. Then notice, do you pronate more? Do you push more into your arches? Or supinate, do you push more into the outer edges of your feet? It might be very subtle, so you want to feel like you're evenly pressing into all four corners of both your feet. Standing tall and strong, just like the name of this pose, mountain pose. Slow your breath. Good. Take another breath here. And then start to open your eyes. Good. Shake out the legs. You will take something for cushioning here. We will cushion the left knee. Kind of came to this pose before. Right foot forward. All right. Wiggle the foot forward maybe a little bit more. Palms come to your thighs. You're going to lift your spine up. So you can take this back a little bit, not as intense. You can walk the foot in. So you have like kind of 90 degrees here and 90 degrees in your other knee. Or you can walk the foot forward a little more, gently let the hips shift forward. The more you do this version, the more intense the sensation will be in your hips. We are here for a short time, but it will feel like an eternity if the hips are tight. So try maybe to find not your edge, but somewhere kind of before you hit your edge, where you can still breathe. So kind of hanging out here, shoulders relaxed, palms pressing into the legs, into your right thigh, so you can try to lift your chest up a little higher. You shouldn't feel like you're crunching into your low back or any sharp pain in your hips. If you do feel that, you're just pushing too deep, pull back a little bit. So this, again, like I said earlier, super awesome pose to get the hips to stretch in different ways. We're stretching the left quad, the thigh, left hip flexor, and the left side of your lower belly. We're stretching the right glute and kind of the chest, especially if we're able to kind of draw the shoulders back and feel a lifting sensation in our hearts. We're just holding here, not for that much longer, but try to be still. Listen to the sound of your breath. And know that we are really just holding for a very short time compared to how long we spend sitting in a chair. And so if this is so super uncomfortable, pull back a little bit more, but try to remain in a shape that's similar to this. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Try not to think about how much longer you're here for. Just focus on your current inhale and your current exhale, keeping the mind present but relaxed, knowing that the discomfort that you're experiencing will pass. Just a few more breaths here. last 2 breaths. So breathe through the nose, out through the nose. If you want to sigh it out through the mouth, you can as well. Last breath here. Try not to rush it. Before you kind of spring out of the pose, keep your hand on the thigh. Start to let your hips shift back really slowly, and then you can release the hands. So you might feel kind of the blood flush back into your left leg, and then slowly we're going to bend the right knee again. Lean forward, don't rush. Place your hands down. You can walk your right foot out to the right side and then sweep it back. Good. Shake it out. Whatever feels good for you here. You might stand up and shake it out. You might go to down dog or using your tabletop, moving around. And then I want you to find a comfortable seated position. So you can sit on your shins or cross-legged, or another version, maybe kind of hop onto your chair if you need. I'm just going to turn to face you. And continuing that stretch that we were doing in the front of our left hip and thigh, you're going to bring your right hand by your side. The left arm is going to reach up and over. So just adding a side bend. And if sitting cross-legged or your shins does not work for you, don't want to jump onto a chair either, do this standing. All right? So breathing into the left side ribs. We're not here as long as the previous pose. Notice if you're starting to build tension in your right shoulder, keep your neck long and the neck relatively neutral. You can look down if that feels better, look forward or look up. Push your left sit bone down, lift your left rib, left armpit up. Breathe. So the focus is less about coming down, more about lifting up. Last couple of breaths here. Try not to strain your face or the neck. Last breath here. And then nice and slow, pull yourself up, releasing the arms, gently moving the neck, rolling the shoulders. Might feel a little bit lopsided here. Then we're going to come back to that same lunge pose, but on the other side. So cushion your other knee. So for me, it'll be the right knee, the left foot steps forward. Press into your left thigh, lift your spine up. You can walk the foot forward more or pull it in, especially you already know kind of how it feels from that one side. And give your body time to come deeper into the pose. If you're new to this practice or new to this pose, start off back here a little bit more. You don't need to achieve all this in one practice, all right? So letting the hips push forward. Imagine hips kind of aiming for the front edge of your mat. Shoulders are relaxed. Lift the chest up. And here, again, we're breathing nice and slow. So you can see from this shape, we are stretching the front of the right quad. Hip crease, so your psoas kind of runs through that. Your hip flexors are there. Your lower abdomen on the right side. When we're sitting, we're kind of more like the left leg here, kind of this 90 degree with your thigh and your spine, but we're usually rounding a little more and less effort in the hip. We're not actually stretching the glute when we're sitting, but in this pose, the left glute, the butt cheek, gets a little bit of a stretch as well if it's tight. So hopefully my talking distracts you a little bit. We still have some time here. Do your best to let go of any unnecessary tension. Especially notice if you clench your jaw or scrunch up your face, or you clench your hands, the shoulders squeeze out. There's so many kind of little habits that we have when we're uncomfortable. So this practice helps to bring a little more awareness to our little habits, our tendencies. And then you can also kind of observe what you do when you are uncomfortable. Just remember, you don't want any sharp pain. So you shouldn't feel anything in your hips or like crunching in your low back. If you are experiencing that, pull back a little bit. So these longer holds will help us get a little deeper into that stretch. Whereas in the first half of the practice, when we're moving more dynamically, we're warming up the body, warming up the muscles. So now they're a little more pliable, more agreeable with the stretch. Almost there. So close. Try to stay with me here. I know it's tough. It's not easy. Here for just one more breath. Don't rush. Push into your knee a little bit more. Let your hips go back first. You might feel a really nice release in that right hip. Good. And then lean forward slowly. You might feel the low back after all that arching. Left foot can walk out to the side as you swing it back. You can stand up, shake it out. You can stay in tabletop, down dog. Doesn't have to have a name. Whatever you're doing here doesn't have to be a yoga pose or movement. Just whatever feels good. Whatever helps you release. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to that seated position. Coming to the other side in the side bend. Left hand up to the side, right arm's going to lift up and over. Might walk the hand out a little more. And again, notice if shoulders creep up towards your neck or your face, keep your neck long. Pushing your right sit bone down, lifting your right ribs up. Breathe here. Our side body gets quite tight from just kind of sitting hunched over, rounding all the time. And it restricts our breath, restricts the movement of our torso and the space between our ribs. A lot of our yoga poses are designed to help create more space in the torso so that we can deepen our breaths. And our breaths it's super important. It's the one thing that we do the moment we come into this world, last thing we do before we leave it. And it has the power to help kind of control our mood, our emotions, our state of being. So ability to breathe deeply is very favorable in terms of our mental health, physical health. Last breath here. The next time you breathe in, you'll come back up slowly. Just move the neck, make sure there's no tension lingering, move the shoulders. All right, you're gonna sit on your mat and straighten out the legs. All right, shake it up. Bending your right knee, you're gonna bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Now for some of us, that little ankle bone on top of the thigh won't feel very nice. You can take a blanket, unfold it a little if you want, and place it on top so that you're not so uncomfortable. And lean back a little. So flex your right ankle. Don't relax the foot, flex it when you place it on top of your left thigh. Shoulders pull back a little, feel like you're puffing your chest up. Press your right thigh downwards towards the floor. All right, so your pose might not look like mine. Your knee might be a little higher, or your knee might be all the way down to the ground. Just kind of honor where your leg is right now. So if your knee is quite lifted, you might just stay here, working on slowly over time bringing the leg lower. If you're feeling okay here, you can add, to deepen this pose, shoulders pull back. You're going to start to bend your left leg. Now for some of us, as soon as we bend, we start to round the back. We're not going to get the stretch in the hip here if we're rounding the back. You need to pull your shoulders back. You need to be able to lift your chest up in this pose. So you might have to straighten the left leg a little. You might not bend it as much. You need to arch your spine in order to feel the stretch in the right hip. Pushing your right thigh forward away from your right shoulder. So don't let it come closer. In fact, try to create more space there. Good. So if hands are getting tired, you can also thread your right arm through. Hold your left shin or left thigh. But again, notice if you start to round, try to lift your chest. Breathe. The shape of your spine and what it's doing will have a direct correlation to the stretch that you're receiving in your hips. Keep your right ankle flexed. Keep your breath flowing slow. Shoulders pull back if possible. Chest expanding. Breathe. One more breath here. As you're hearing the clicking sound, Abby's just walking behind the camera, looking at the screen. All right, so next time you breathe in, you can let your spine relax, straighten your left leg, straighten your right leg, shake it out. And you're going to lie on your belly, so you can sweep your legs back, come onto your chest. Your right arm will reach straight out to the right side. Biggest mistake here is people bring the arm by the body or forward to where the head is pointing. Bring it straight out. So notice where my body is, my arm is actually reaching towards you in the camera. Left hand pushes into the mat, you're gonna roll onto the right side. Your left leg might come behind you. So this is gonna open your chest and your shoulder. If your head is hanging and it doesn't come down onto the mat, grab your blanket, your cushions, your pillows, you can place it underneath your head. Left hand can stay in front of your chest, or you can let your left arm come behind you across the low back. Trying to pull your left hip back a little bit more. This is a little bit of a twist in your spine, but it will deepen the stretch in your shoulder and your pecs, your chest. Of course, give your body time. You might not be able to bring the leg back or your arm behind you right away. You might be kind of just lying on your side. This will help counter all the rounding and the hunching in the upper spine. Breathe. And nice and slow, you're going to come back onto your chest. You might push into your left arm to lift the chest a little to release your right, move the shoulder. And then we're going to come back up, sitting down, stretch the hips first before we move into the other side of the shoulder. So legs out, shake it out. Left knee bends, left ankle on top of the right thigh, cushion the ankle if you need. You want to flex your ankle instead of just letting it kind of relax when you place the foot there. Flex. Hands slightly behind you, squeeze your shoulder blades together, puff your chest up. Stay here, try to press your left thigh down when your right leg is straight. If you're starting to bend the right knee, you're pressing your left thigh forward, away from your left shoulder, so your left shoulder pulls back, or both shoulders pull back. Breathe. If hands are getting tired behind you, left arm can thread through, hold the back of your thigh or front of your shin. But again, just pay attention to what your spine ends up doing over time. Keep this lifted sensation. It's more effort, but you're gonna get that proper stretch in your left hip. Push the left thigh away from you, but don't use your hands, all right? So strength of your own hip to stretch it. Breathe. Here we're having that external rotation in the left hip. For some people, this might feel very natural, especially if you can sit cross-legged very easily. If you have trouble sitting cross-legged, this might be a little challenging as well. Just means your hips don't always externally rotate this way, so it's gotten tight over the years. Just give it some time to open. Here for the last few breaths. Remember to try to keep your ankle flexed. That protects your knee. Because we don't want the stretch to happen in your knee joint, the stretch to stay in the hip. Last two breaths. Last breath. Straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg. Shake it out. Lie on your belly. And your left arm's gonna reach out. So once again, make sure your arm reaches straight out, 90 degrees to your spine. Don't have your arm by your body or overhead, all right? So left arm straight out to the left side. When you're lying on the belly, roll onto the left side of your body. Right leg might kind of hang out on top. You can relax your head down or on your props. You can also bend the right knee, place the foot behind you. Right hand can stay to help open the chest. or you can bring the right arm behind you across the low back. When you breathe, try to breathe more into your chest as well. So this pose, again, we're opening the front of the shoulder, mostly on the left side, and as well as the pec minor. And if we breathe deep into the lungs, into the chest, it helps to create a little more space. Do your best to try to relax here. You might feel a little tingly in your palms or your fingers. That's okay, we're not here for that much longer. Just one more breath. Don't rush. You can start to release the legs, release the right arm. Come back onto your chest. Slide your left palm in. Come back up to tabletop. Maybe moving the shoulder. Make sure you didn't overdo it. And we're going to move towards our last pose together. Usually it's our Shavasana. If you want to lie flat on the mat, you can definitely do that. If you have a blanket or a towel handy, I suggest you can try to roll your blanket or towel up, like so. So if I'm lying down this way, I'm placing my towel or blanket like this. So it's gonna go right across my ribs and my shoulder blades. I might have the other blanket handy for supporting my head. So it really depends on how thick your blanket or your towel is. When you lie back, you're gonna feel to have it right where your ribs and your shoulder blades meet. And your head might come down on the mat and it feels great here, especially if this isn't too elevated. Or you have something else, maybe an actual pillow, cushion that you can place your head on, just so you're not straining the neck while you're trying to relax in this pose. Arms can reach out wide. If it feels nice, you can bring it overhead with the elbows bent. Legs can be straight. You can also widen the legs, kind of like starfish here. You can bend your knees and butterfly or feet down, knees point up, thighs pretty much touching, feet wider. Picking what works for you here. As long as it's comfortable, you don't actually even want to feel too much of a stretch. It's purely for you to unwind and release. The blankets underneath your ribs help to create a little more space in your lungs, stretching gently the muscles across the chest. Eyes closed. Your breath should return to its natural rhythm. Softening the face and unclenching the jaw. Allow your entire body to just sink into the ground. If you need more time here, you're welcome to just turn off the video, stay a little longer. Otherwise, we're going to bring movement back into the body. Start by just wiggling your fingers and your toes. Deepen your breath, feel your belly and your chest expand a little more. And if it feels nice, you can stretch your arms overhead. And point your toes, straighten the legs as you stretch them out. Take a deep breath in, feel your chest fully expand. Open your mouth and sigh it out. Bend at the knees. Roll to the right or left side slowly, especially if you're on your blankets and propped up. Push into your palms. Make your way up. Finding comfortable seated position again, so that we end the practice the same way we began it. Shoulders relaxed, spine tall. Close your eyes. And as you learn to connect with how your body feels, your breath, you might begin to notice the difference, the shifts and the changes that have taken place over the last 60 minutes, how different the body can feel, and perhaps it's a little easier to take deep breaths in, and maybe the mind is a little more calm. And just as we begin, we will close with the sound of Om. Let's connect the palms in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in. And just bow your head. Thank yourself for making time for your practice. And thank you for joining me today. Hope you're able to find some peace, love, and gratitude on the mat. Take that with you. Share it with the people you interact with. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate. Reach out to us. You can type in the comment box below or send us a message on Instagram. So again, thank you so much. Make sure you drink lots of water, and thanks for supporting us.